Something's wrong with the end trailers. They're dragging like dead weights.
This is seriously bad news.
The road has caved in, completely burying the trailer's axles and wheels. An engineering yard south of Adelaide.
This hole is smaller than the other one.
Oversized expert Mark Cromwell
And then it goes up.
has a lot on his plate.
It's getting rid of all this shit first before we bring more stuff out.
His mission: deliver an $8 million power plant with 3 giant units to a tiny island in the western Pacific Ocean.
You just have that many sleepless nights just thinking of what could go wrong.
From Adelaide, he must take the power plant 7,000 kilometres to Weno in Micronesia. For its 14,000 inhabitants, it will mean electricity 24/7 for the first time. But getting it there will push Mark and his team to breaking point.
How long has this been like that?
Step 1, truck the power plant from the yard 45 kilometres to Port Adelaide, where a ship is waiting.
Try and go straight under. They didn't listen to me.
If Mark's team don't get it there by tomorrow,
You might have wanted to go that side of the building.
their permit runs out.
If this doesn't go to plan, we don't get all this done. We've got to wait another week. That means the boat stays there. We pay that boat $20,000 US per day to sit at that wharf. 10 o'clock.
3 monster loads must be lifted onto Mark's trucks.
Start setting up all these hydraulic lines.
And this heavyweight challenge just got even harder.
Someone's run over it.
A crucial piece of loading equipment is broken.
Ridiculously careless.
Who knows what I get when I get out there? I don't know, but I've got to get moving.
Over 1,400 kilometres to the north, Outback veteran Steve Grahame has gambled on making it across the recently flooded Chukaruru Road.
Come on, trucker, come on.
And now, his luck has run out.
Oh, it's going to be a bigger job than what I thought.
From Alice Springs, Steve is making a high-risk 680-kilometre run to the remote community of Docker River.
Pull that ply down the end.
With 3 trailers of vital construction materials, he headed west on a waterlogged obstacle course. Before coming up 100 kilometres short.
That's just a solid, big brick. That back trailer weighs 36.5 tonne. The middle trailer probably weighs the same. It's good news. There's no crocs.
Also looking on the bright side, Steve's new dog, Bella.
The dog enjoys being bogged.
Out here, it's up to Steve alone to find a way out. And with one trailer dangerously unbalanced, he needs to work fast.
That is starting to be a bit of a scary angle. That's my concern, that this trailer doesn't fall in there and fall over.
Luckily, he's got an escape plan.
I'll let a bit more air out of these tyres. I'll drop my tyres on 50 pound, I'll drop my tyres down to 40. Let it build up plenty of air, release all the brakes, and give it a little go.
Deflating the tyres puts more tread in contact with the ground, increasing traction. still not enough.
If you get the second one up straight enough, I could unhook it.
Take 2.
I'm going to rip the clutch out of this truck if I keep doing what I'm trying to do. All of what that engine's giving is going into the ground. Something will break.
Tracking is my life. I think it's in my blood.
Half a continent away, in Sydney, Mick King has an urgent pickup.
We generally carry building materials. This is completely different to what we normally do.
At Port Botany, a 50,000-tonne container ship is about to dock. And the 25-year trucking veteran will be there to meet it. Ready for the biggest challenge of his career.
We've done a lot of homework on this and a few little butterflies. We're just hoping everything comes together.
For his customer, Rob Clifford, a nervous wait is almost over.
Lowering the crane down now. At some point in the next 10 minutes, you'll just see it being lifted straight out of the belly of the ship over the top there.
Mick's oversized load appears. A 15-month-old Rothschild giraffe called Matundu. 3 days ago, he left New Zealand and Auckland Zoo. One of only 1,600 left on the planet. It's up to zookeeper Rob to ensure Matundu makes it on to the next leg of his journey.
This is special. If it goes wrong, you just can't go get another one. And so he's highly precious. He's very important to the breeding program.
One of the biggest dangers is stress, which can kill these sensitive animals. No one knows how this first-time traveller will cope. From Port Botany, Matundu will travel 300 kilometres through the night to his new home at Mogo Zoo.
If you're going to strap it all down there.
And the first leg of his Australian adventure is a risky 20-metre drop, straight down.
Mate, is this animal going to be spooked?
When you're dropping your chains down the side, just don't bang and crash.
Yeah, no, I'm going to try very much for that not to happen.
We need to get hold of something.
Mark Cromwell's epic power plant delivery has suffered its first setback.
So someone can run over it.
A broken jacking system needed to load 3 giant units weighing 187 tonnes.
We've only got one limited window to get all these down to the boat.
Mark calls in a backup hydraulic pump. The heavy lifting begins.
Push him over that way, and then we'll straighten him up.
In position and just in time to get some rest before tomorrow's early morning move.
It's a big day tomorrow.
1 a.m. Sunday. 12 hours to move 2 giant generators and a switch room to Port Adelaide, 45 kilometres away. The main road is closed, leaving only a winding side route known as the Goat Track.
Which is just a zigzag of roads, dodging power lines, trees, like you haven't seen before on any other trip that we've done out of here.
On Don Bradman Drive, Mark and his load are getting smashed for 6. Rip the protective sheets, and the delicate circuitry inside could be exposed to salt damage on the sea journey ahead.
We are moments away from glory.
At the port, the job is only half done. Time to fetch the next load. But suddenly, the police escort takes off.
Where are they gone?
Without it, Mark can't move until daylight.
I don't want to be here for weeks and weeks.
On the road to Docker River, Steve Grahame is trapped, with a truck just a few revs from breaking point.
I'll either tear the tyres off this thing, or I'll bust a tail shaft or tear a clutch out of it. Back trailers are stuck, they're just dead weight, stuck in the wet sand.
With no way to call for help, getting out of here will come down to one man and his know-how.
I've got to ease the load on. So I'll drop this back trailer. That's nearly 40 tonne. I'm not trying to pull through the water. If I can get it unhooked.
Pulling the trailers free one by one will take longer, but put less of a strain on the truck. Now Steve can adjust his line of attack.
I'm going to try and pick this trailer up on a different angle in new wheel tracks.
But he's doing more harm than good.
This trailer is sliding down, down, down into this hole.
Time for a helping hand.
He's usually locked in his dark little cave in here. Serious, bad chain. It's my last little go.
Steve's last hope. 5 metres of heavy-duty steel.
The advantage with a chain is you can pull up some drive and take up the weight and just give it a bit of a yank forward.
One down.
You might see a smile when the next one comes out.
Just the tipper to go.
To be fair to say, that last trailer was difficult. This one's dangerous.
Hit the steep sides of the bog hole, and this rescue attempt could be all over.
I've seen tippers fall over in mud holes like this. This one's scary.
We probably will put it against the headboard. That should be right by that.
At Port Botany in Sydney, Nick King is about to meet his new passenger, the 500-kilo giraffe, Matundu. But first, this fragile animal must be gently loaded onto the truck. Safely down. But zookeeper Rob is still worried about his new arrival.
If it's open, leave it open.
Leave it open, then they poke their heads out. If they can see what's going on, they don't freak out too bad. But he's just frustrated. Who are these people? Things moving over his head. We just need to get on the road.
I'd say the giraffe would have got scared because it scared all of us.
At last, the giraffe convoy sets off, with 4 support vehicles, including power company workers and a team of zookeepers.
My main objective now is to get into his new home as quick as possible. We're just hoping not to have any more rain, that's all. We're going to lose a bit of visibility and we need to be able to see up on top of that crate, at least to get under these low bridges.
Nick's first headache is just outside the port.
We're approaching it now.
He has just 30 millimetres of clearance, and only if he picks the right line. The dead centre of the bridge.
You're going to be very tight. We're through. Happy days.
But around the next corner, another even tighter squeeze.
Down the end of this, there's some power lines these guys have got to check.
Yeah, mate, yep, okay. It looks a bit low. Mate, I reckon we're going to hit this one. I've got a feeling this is going to be a problem. That's freaking low. Far out.
Mick's passenger is also checking out the power lines. And then Matundu does the unthinkable. He takes a bite.
We had to wait till daybreak so that we could head back.
Adelaide, 5:30 a.m. After being abandoned by police escorts for 2 hours, Mark's finally on his way back to the yard, looking for answers.
Come out, there's no cops, so we had to park up.
Okay. Yeah, see? Look.
A breakdown in communication. Now the pressure's on to make it back to the port with 2 more monster loads.
So when we get to the bridge, we'll stop and just lower it right down.
Mark's got the second 65-ton generator. Behind him, Ralph, with a giant 5.7 metre high, 4.3 metre wide switch room.
Living the dream on a Sunday morning.
Since making this drive 6 hours ago, the road has changed dramatically.
It'll be really slow, then people will just start getting angsty.
More cars. And more impatient drivers.
No, do not. Oh, no, she's going for it. She's going for it. Come on. More people usually means more dramas.
But now a much bigger hazard looms. A low bridge, just 5.6 metres high. Mark scrapes under, but at 5.7 metres, Ralph is set for a tighter time. The only way forward is to drop the hydraulic trailer lower than its safe driving height, exposing the undercarriage to damage from the road, which is exactly what's happened.
Just locked it up.
To be fair to say, that last trailer was difficult. This one's dangerous.
100 kilometres out of Docker River, Steve Grahame is on the edge.
This one's scary.
He's hoping his heaviest chain can pull the tipper free. But hitting the sides of the bog hole could spell disaster.
It will just go plop on its side.
There's one other option.
That's why I'm going to pull it straight in the hole. I've got to pull it in the hole so it stays level.
Rather than go around the water, go straight into it.
Here we go.
After 5 anxious hours, freedom.
When you get out of a mess like that all by yourself, it's, you know, it's not without a sense of satisfaction. I'm going to get on with it, put this whole thing back together again and go deliver some freight.
But there's one final obstacle in Steve's path.
I don't need a bloody snake coming out and biting me right now. I can't believe he turned up after it all.
Brown snakes are responsible for over half the snake bite deaths in Australia.
That's it, skedaddle over there. Someone once told me you got about 4 minutes if you get bitten by one of them. I'll be glad to see the end of this load. It's been a big job since I left Perth. We've got it here. Stocker River's just over there. It hasn't been without its little trials and tribulations. I'll give you the mail on that. Just pull it back and just... Thanks, mate. That's it. Thanks, Cobber. That is so nice, really, to see that thing come off there. So much of this unloading is so easy when it's like that.
He's barely unloaded, but Steve's already trying to find a job for the run home. A call from a potential client.
Hello. Yeah. Ian, how are you, mate?
But it's bad news.
I've got no freight. There's no loading out here.
If his trailers stay empty for long, Steve will take a big financial hit.
The money-making side of this trip's over. And I've got no choice. I've got to go home the short way.
It's a 1,800-kilometre race back to Perth to find more work.
Far out.
On the outskirts of Sydney, Matundu the giraffe has bitten off more than he can chew. Snacking on a power line could be fatal. Zookeeper Rob is on the scene fast.
You right, mate?
He grabbed hold of the telephone line.
A lucky escape. Just a telephone line.
He just bit a hole in it.
Matundu, which means the mischievous one, is living up to his name.
Got a real fright. Thank God it wasn't a power line, or it could have been all over. It doesn't take much and we've got problems. We're not out of the woods yet, obviously.
An hour in, and the giraffe convoy is almost out of the concrete jungle.
We're just on the outskirts of Sydney now, which is good because it's going to get a little easier from here. We're just trying not to jerk the truck around and make the rest of his trip a bit more comfortable.
But as they hit the open road, the weather closes in.
Visibility's down to probably 50 metres or less. We have to slow down in the fog, it's just no option. Because I need to keep an eye on that crate, make sure everything's intact.
Rather than risk the conditions, it's time for a break.
So we're just going to pull in here and have a bit of a spell. Go and have a look at our patient. Hey, dude. Hey, mate. Seems pretty happy, doesn't he?
A few hours later, the fog lifts. Along with Mick's mood.
I'm feeling a lot more relaxed this morning. It's been an eventful trip, and we're not finished just yet, because we're only just over halfway.
Outside the town of Berry, power company workers arrive to clear the path ahead.
I'm concerned about the time. We're getting held up a bit.
The permit for this job only allows Mick to drive until 8 a.m. After that, he could be grounded for the rest of the day. Not good for Matundu's stress levels.
Really only got an hour and 10 minutes to get off the road. So I'm thinking at the moment we're going to blow out, because I didn't need this at all. Not good.
We're going.
In Adelaide, a damaged brake booster has put the skids on Mark and Ralph. With only 4 hours left to get this oversized switch room into the port, they need a quick fix.
What'd you do? Just smash the air scan?
Yeah.
Brake unjammed. They're back on the move. And ready for their next headache. The boulevard of broken trees. Ralph's 5.7 metre high load is getting savaged. But the trees are coming off worse.
No koalas on those trees.
Finally, they're in the clear. And the port is in sight. For Mark, moving 3 oversized buildings in one day is a massive achievement. Getting them onto the ship, however, is even more daunting.
Tomorrow is this really a what's going to happen day? We've got no idea.
The money-making side of this trip's over. I've got no freight. There's no loading out here.
In Docker River, veteran trucker Steve Grahame is in a hurry to make it home to Perth and find his next job. But after a day soaking in a bog hole, he's not sure his truck will hold up.
This truck's been through a lot. All of this stuff was underwater yesterday, so I just had a bit of water squirt out of that one. I'll just whack a bit of grease in my drive line. I always work on the theory if they're full of grease and there's a whole heap of water down the road, the water can't get in. Get everything right, sit back, turn the jukebox on, listen to Slim Dusty, and have a good run home. I need to get this empty road train home and then get reloaded.
Steve and his truck are ready for the worst. But so far, so good.
This is really good road at the moment. I can't believe how good it is. It's been washed by the rain, better than a grader.
He can put his foot down and enjoy the ride.
Now here I've got a big blue sky, like I said, we've got clouds out, red dirt, and now I've got this really nice green everywhere. It makes it, yeah, it's a pleasant way to pass the day.
But not for long, with a washout lying in wait.
I mean, snuck up on me.
An airline has sheared off from his seat suspension.
I can't stand the noise. I've got an airline blowing on this seat I'll have to fix.
Steve's hope for a quick run home looks over.
I'm concerned about the time we're getting held up a bit.
140 kilometres south of Sydney, Mick King has a fast-approaching curfew.
We need to be off the road by 8 a.m.
And a truck going nowhere.
But at this stage, I think we're going to bust. More delays. I didn't need this at all.
And Matundu's losing his patience too.
Our mate's moving around in the back at the moment. I can feel the truck moving. I think he's getting anxious too.
With the wires finally cleared, Mick's desperate to make the 8 a.m. deadline.
Righto, Pop, we'll see if we can make up a bit of time, mate. We've got to keep pushing on, bud.
Yep.
But this fragile load needs a smooth ride.
These windy roads are slowing us up again. We're trying to make up some time, but we're not doing that well. I don't want to turn too sharp or anything to upset our passenger. So it's just, it is what it is. I'm hoping we don't get nailed. There it is, that's 8 o'clock.
Time's up. But taking an exhausted giraffe off the road for 24 hours while Mick tries to get another permit isn't an option.
We're officially running hot.
He needs to buy some time from the traffic police.
Angus, Mick, mate.
There you go.
We're going to be, I don't know, maybe half an hour late or something.
I'll stop the northbound traffic, mate, so you get a run through.
Okay, thank you very much, mate. Bye-bye, Angus. That's for a good cause. A little bit of leniency. Who's going to pull over a giraffe?
But 3 days at sea and 5 hours on the road have taken their toll. Matundu has dropped out of sight.
Don't know what's going on here.
The zookeepers make an emergency stop.
Haven't seen him for the last 15 minutes.
Nervous start. That's always ugly at the beginning of these things.
In Adelaide, it's game day for Mark Cromwell. 24 hours to load the giant parts of a power plant onto a waiting ship. First up, the 57-ton switchroom. Smooth enough. But down in the hold, Mark's getting a sinking feeling.
We got about 700 mil.
The space is smaller than expected. The rest of the cargo will have to be packed millimetre perfect.
Gonna be tight. Yeah, I know. See how we go.
And now, more king-size problems. The first of the two heavyweight generators.
This is right on the capacity of the crane. So 65 tonne, and we're somewhere around that 65 to 67 tonne.
The crane starts taking up the load.
Tonne and still not moving. You can hear it. Just
Lift off.
oh, here it goes. She's spinning. Shit, what's going on?
The alarm means the crane is close to its limit.
Go down, down, down.
I've got an airline blowing on this seat I'll have to fix.
A busted seat suspension has stopped Steve's race home. After recent shoulder surgery, 2 days on these roads with a broken seat would be hell.
I had a smear of silicone in there before, which held it for a few days. What I can do is try that and hope I get home and replace the thing properly. My dog thinks trucking is fun. Now this big run here is nearly over. I'm just about on the bitumen, which gives me a bit over 1,000 k's to get home. Should be home tomorrow night.
On either side, the remains of the downpour that closed this road a month ago.
It's amazing, so much water.
And forced Steve to take a detour into the unknown. He left Perth 2 weeks ago.
I don't want to be mixed up with everyone.
Unsure about his new route.
And I'm hating this.
Or his new sidekick.
The dog got to my hat. The dog's eaten both the bands off my hat, the inside and outside.
He drove straight into trouble.
Yep, that's a tyre breaking up. Bugger it.
And it didn't let up.
I just hope the thing tows right.
But an unfamiliar 6,000 kilometre journey has a familiar ending.
I'm on the edges of Perth. Perth over there.
Steve can't relax just yet.
I spend most of my life assessing camel tracks. Could be camels on the road, washout, rain clouds. And now here, it's just a completely different ball game. Learner driver, tradesman's ute, can't see out the mirrors, slow-moving truck. It's just a whole different ball game, and you've got to just readjust your head completely to deal with it. All right, well, this is it. I take this one home, and I might have a coldie and say good day to the missus. I'll say good day to the missus and, you know, get the order correct. But you know what I mean. I'll be home and the job will be done. Well, that's it. Home sweet home.
And after a marathon first run, Bella has earned her stripes.
There you go. There you go. Job's done. You're learning. You're slowly becoming a truck dog.
Got to stop here, mate.
Matundu the giraffe has disappeared from view, forcing an emergency stop.
Are we right?
He's just sitting down, but he's knackered like he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Exhausted, but okay. For the time being.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. It's all good.
He's been really sleepy, and then he just went down. He's sort of bobbing, but we'll just get there now. He's exhausted.
Matundu may be tired, but lying down for too long is dangerous. It can send too much blood to the brain, causing a giraffe to faint and choke.
Hopefully he's going to stick it out to the end of the journey. I think everyone's going to be happy to close this job off, I think, including myself.
Up ahead, a narrow bridge, which could mean more delays.
We should see quite a few people on Batemans Bay Bridge.
They're in luck. Police have stopped traffic.
All good, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
After 6 hours on the road, a welcome sight.
We've made it. We've made it.
It's almost over.
But has Matundu made it? It's been an exhausting 2,500 kilometre journey, but finally, his first steps on Australian soil. Home sweet home.
He's up now, he's all right.
For Mick, the biggest challenge of his career was worth it.
If you think you're much better to get on.
Absolute pleasure.
Go down, down, down.
In the port of Adelaide, 65 tonnes of spinning generator is pushing a ship's crane. 4 men and Mark Cromwell's nerve
I'm slightly paranoid.
to their limit.
Oh, looking forward to it being over.
Back under control. Next piece of cargo, the prime mover. It needs to sit perfectly on this customised lifting frame.
Put some meat into that throttle. Yeah, got some throttle. There's 700 horsepower, not 2. Stop. That's it. It's a big sense of achievement, like it's a major milestone, getting it onto the ship.
But Mark knows a much bigger task lies 7,000 kilometres across the water. In Micronesia, Mark and his team will have to unload the ship with no help, truck its fragile contents across a developing island, then put it all together to make electricity. When it comes to Outback trucking, this is way out back.
The job has only just begun.
Another day, another dollar. Here we go, we're into it.
Veteran trucker Steve Grahame has been driving road trains through the Australian Outback for 40 years. But his biggest challenge is still to come.
It's a beautiful Sunday drive this morning. Couldn't ask for more.
From his home base in Perth, he's preparing to take on Australia's largest desert, the Great Victoria.
Once again, it's a lonely outback mongrel job. But it's outback trucking, dramas. And I'm looking forward to getting back out in the desert.
Normally, Steve takes only his dog Bella for company.
Come on, let's go. Up we get. We're on the road, girl. We're on the road. Let's go.
But on this epic journey, he's in convoy with his old mate, Si, who's no respecter of age.
Steve, I'm just going to make sure you've got your big pencils.
Roger Dodger. Righto, mate. We'll settle down and we'll give it a bit of a run for a while, eh?
Steve and Si are hauling heavy machinery to a road crew on the far edge of the Great Victoria Desert. From Perth, the convoy will trek 1,300 kilometres through Kalgoorlie to Kitchener and onto the remote Aboriginal community of Junjunjara.
Well, we're on the road to Junjunjara. 20-something years since Si and I were there last, and God, I've got some bad memories.
Back in the early 90s, Steve and Si got caught in a cyclone.
Anyway, we're committed now.
Floodwater stranding their trucks for 2 weeks.
Bugger. Yeah, there's memories, and some of them make you grit your teeth.
Now, close to 3 decades later, history is threatening to repeat itself. The weather forecast is grim.
There's a cyclone hanging around waiting to come down and give us a bit of pain. And Si and I desperately want to get this load in and delivered before we get major rain out there in the desert.
With the tail end of the wet season lingering, Steve fears storms have flooded the desert road.
There's huge rain the other day, huge rain. We just don't need water like that to have gone out where we're going, anywhere near where we're going. You just can't drive these trucks out on country like that. You haven't got a chance in hell.
That's definitely something to think about, how much rain they've had out the road. But you never know, it's trucking, isn't it?
As the trucks approach Kalgoorlie, black skies touch the horizon in every direction.
Last time the sky was like this, and there were cyclones around and thunderstorms, and we were out there for weeks, Bogged. It could be a bad sign.
Outback trucker Yogi Kendall is collecting a fragile and valuable cargo.
So that's our little adventure sitting there.
3 vintage tractors and a motorbike from his home base in Western Australia.
Motorbikes are designed to be ridden, not bloody transported.
These 2 1920 Hart-Par tractors are just short of a century old. Adding to Yogi's ancient load is this 1950 Lanza Bulldog.
This one's only about 70 years old. Young one.
All 3 of these antique gems are heading to Victoria for a makeover to restore them to their former glory.
Isn't that good? Little one? How are ya? Oh, yes, very important. Love you.
Love you.
Yogi's life on the road brings long spells apart from his kids.
I regret missing the kids growing up. That plays in my mind a bit. All right, see you later. All right, I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And his wife of 15 years, Amanda.
I feel like I don't see enough of the kids and the family, and what do you do?
This job will keep Yogi away for 2 weeks.
Try and be good.
From Katanning in Western Australia, he's facing a 3,500 kilometre slog east through South Australia to Lancefield in Victoria.
Yeah, that's right.
Jim out, mate.
The antique tractors he's hauling are not an easy load. They've got no brakes or rubber tyres to help roll them straight onto his trailer.
Yeah, these are 100-year-old ones, these ones.
Yogi's borrowed a heavy-duty crane from a farm equipment sales yard. But only until it opens for business at 7 a.m. He needs to load quickly.
And we're burning favours by using their yard. They start at 7, I don't want to upset them. Rightio, bud, in you go.
Just come down a bit.
His plan is to position the front wheels of the first tractor on the upper deck and its back wheels on the lower deck.
First plan didn't work for the day.
But with time ticking down, Yogi's having second thoughts.
It's not going to work. It's just not going to sit nicely. Plan A didn't do the job.
New Zealand's South Island. Beautiful mountains. Empty beaches. Peace, quiet and tranquility. Not today. Outback trucker and veteran bike racer Sludge is here to bring the noise.
I come over here, I've had an invitation to race the Burtman Road. They have a road race, a hill climb, a beach race. I'm here for the beach race and stuff. And I've actually never done a beach race, so it'll be quite cool.
Sludge's usual mode of transport has a lot more wheels, but is equally dangerous.
You drive a mobile bomb.
He makes a living delivering fuel to the far-flung reaches of Western Australia.
Push, dry scrap.
But for the last few weeks, he's left the Outback behind. Trucking his way around New Zealand on a working holiday in his country of birth.
New Zealand's a beautiful place. I just really enjoy coming back here and doing this.
The sights may be a knockout, but the roads can knock you down.
Ooh la la. There's not a lot of room for error. A lot goes on here when you go into places. You've got to be a lot more careful than at home.
It's been a day of noisy, adrenaline-soaked R&R for Sludge.
Great day, part of paradise. 26 degrees today, folks.
We got 6 out of 12 and it was pretty good, actually.
But he's got to earn a crust while he's here.
Hello. How are you, Hoggy?
His old mate Bogged has a swag of delivery runs lined up for Sludge.
Yeah, a few days' work will be all right. Yeah, no, we'll be finished down here today and might see you tomorrow sometime.
The first is a load of dried peas, picked up in Ardlusa on the South Island and hauled 500 kilometres north to Ashburton, along some of New Zealand's most challenging mountain roads. Early the next morning, Sludge loads up.
All right, we'll go and do it.
Driving an unfamiliar truck.
Clutch, a bit heavy in it.
Will take a little getting used to. But he'd better get the hang of it fast. Approaching the mountains, the weather closes in.
Yeah, we're going to run into a bit of weather up here tonight by the look of it, so that might hold us up a little bit. We're going up over the Linders, so we're climbing up through the pass. Might be a bit greasy, so we'll just have to be careful.
At 971 metres above sea level, Linders Pass is the highest highway in the South Island.
You never know, going up these hills, you end up stuck. I just have to keep my wits about me and just make sure I'm bloody on the ball.
Some dangers are beyond Sludge's control. A tourist overtakes on a blind corner.
Down the fucking road, you moron.
Sludge is forced to brake and grinds to a halt.
Hey. Here, wouldn't it?
Blocking one of the South Island's main tourist routes.
Hey, you bastard. All those.
In Kalgoorlie, Western Australia, Steve Grahame's picking up 2 more trailers.
We've got 62 wheels hanging off the end of the steering wheel, 100 tonne, 53 metres long. Looks like we've got us a road train. We're ready to go Outback trucking.
The convoy's also gained another truck.
See how we go.
Pat Reed is joining Steve and Si on their epic trek across the Great Victoria Desert, delivering a water tank to the remote community of Junjunjara.
That cyclone's been a big worry. It's off Karratha now. We'll cross the coast somewhere today. Within 2 days, we'll have rain out here somewhere, probably. So we will get moving to try and get in front of it. Come on.
Stay up the road. Stay.
The thing with Outback trucking is you don't know what's in front of you. You've got to deal with what you get. This is the end of the bitumen coming up here, I think. Well, there we go. Back on those little things we know and don't love. A few corrugations coming through here.
The road's rough, but bone dry.
So far, touch wood, it's been a lovely day at the office. Road's good so far anyway.
Yeah, unreal. It's not going to get any better.
Further up the road, ominous signs of what could lie ahead.
It's been raining here, and it's just dried out enough now for us to have access, so we certainly don't want any more water on this road.
The last time Steve and Si drove this road, close to 30 years ago, they were stranded in the mud for 2 weeks. With clouds gathering on the horizon, it could be another difficult journey.
Hey, Steve, see the little white fluffies up over in the sky over there to the left of the right?
Shit, yeah, mate. That's, that'd have to be coming off that cyclone side.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary, scary, mate.
have to keep my wits about me. You never know, going up these hills, you end up stuck.
In New Zealand, sludge approaches the peak of the highest road on the South Island.
Yeah, the f***ing road, you f***ing moron.
But he's forced to brake suddenly, stalling the fully loaded truck.
Oi, you bastard.
Blocking traffic on a busy tourist route.
F***ing autos.
It's a dangerous place to get stuck.
Here we go.
With a 36-ton load, the truck shudders as it pulls against the gradient.
Whew. There we go, we're out of it. Yeah, it's not really the right place to be stopping going up there. So we're through the pass, we're just heading down the other side now.
Sludge is on a tricky downhill stretch.
It's a bit windy around here.
He's got nervous tourist traffic for company. From the reckless.
Never ceases to amaze you with some of these dumb shits pass.
To the painfully slow.
Christ, come on, it's 100, moron.
While the scenery is spectacular,
beautiful country,
it's frustratingly slow.
We're running a bit shy on time. I can't be late because I've got a book in time to tip off.
Sludge has got just 30 minutes to reel in the last 30 Ks.
We ain't there yet. The fat lady hasn't sung.
With just 2 minutes to make his tip-off slot, Sludge arrives at the depot.
We're just pulling into where we're going to unload the peas now. We've made it. Less than a minute to spare now that I've backed in. You've got to have a gun operator to do a gun job.
Sludge will have to be on his A game again tomorrow. He'll face hard yakka.
Fucking heavy things, these puppies.
Frustrations.
Come on, where the f are you?
And a mishap could destroy his load.
Holy shit, it's gonna fucking rain.
100 kilometres east of Kalgoorlie, on the road to Junjunjara.
Looks like a bit of a slippery spot here.
Steve Grahame's heavy-duty truck convoy has run into mud.
It's been a bit more rain than what there was closer into Cal.
In the lead truck, Si's approaching the worst of it.
A little bit of slop coming up, get ready.
But makes it through. Pat's next in the water tanker. Steve is bringing up the rear. At 53 metres long, getting his 3 trailers through the mud hole is going to be tough.
Si's got 20 wheels to pull through here. I've got 62. Righto, here we go. We've got a bit of wheel spin there. She's not enjoying it. But once I get my drive through, which I have now, I'm feeling good about it.
The massive road train passes its first mud test.
I was worried about my pacemakers back there, but then I realised
I was going uphill.
Are you trying to kind of say
I think
something?
that the pacemaker's doing a good job.
oh, you're on it, mate.
Because I'm breaking the air for you, mate. Just getting sucked along by my power.
Si's engine is a little bit more modern than mine, and puts out more torque. But I would like to point out, he's got tiny little wheels there that are ready to give him an awful lot of trouble. So there's a little bit of to and fro going on here. Who's going to pull who out of the bomb?
So far, so good. But news drops about an approaching cyclone, and it's all bad.
Si just flicked me back a photo of where the cyclone is come across the coast, it will break up and turn into a rain-bearing depression and drop a lot of rain. And I don't want to be underneath a lot of rain out here.
More rain means more mud.
Try to dodge this water with all your heart.
This doesn't look like much fun. You wouldn't want to be down in that hole, size right.
Already the track is falling apart.
Sorry, old truck, but you're going to take out a bit of scrub. I hope we don't get any punctures out here. I don't want to do it to you. Yeah, we're good, son. It's always good to get through a puddle, but just looking at what's in front of us, this
Holy shit, not good.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Up ahead, Si's worst nightmare. His fully loaded truck is bogged.
It's not going to work. It's just not going to sit nicely.
Katanning, Western Australia. Yogi's attempting to load 3 antique tractors, but the cargo is longer than the trailer.
I've got to make half a metre somewhere. Plan A didn't do the job. So we'll go to plan B. Sit him down there.
By removing the ramp, he adds a little more length to the lower deck.
Yeah, boy. The Eagle has landed. Well, the Bulldog has landed. These ones here probably longer at the back.
With time running out before he loses the borrowed crane, Yogi needs to get the last tractor loaded fast.
Yep, that'll do. Come down.
It's going to be tight, if it fits at all.
Right here, Matty. Yeah, go on. Yep. Nice one.
There's just millimetres to spare.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, boys. 10:40 a.m.
The first leg of the journey is no time to relax as Yogi's load of vintage collectibles settle into position.
I work to a standard, no damage. Do something wrong with these tractors, I can't replace these tractors. I've got to pay attention all the time. Can't see that bike, which is a bit of a pain. But I'm just going to pull up here and have a little bit of a look around.
On inspection, the bike's fine. But it's lucky Yogi stopped to check.
Oh yeah, we got our first casualty. That rod wasn't sitting on that chain. So that rod has come off. These big suckers here, they're never designed to be transported, that's one thing for sure. This is sacrilege on an old machine, but I ought to put a cable tie on a 1920s tractor. Rightio.
With the load settled and secure, Yogi's back on the road.
I'm actually a little bit excited that it's good. It's just sitting there very nicely, so I can settle down into the groove here and just kind of start appreciating the Ks and the days now, you know.
As the light begins to fade, Yogi completes close to 500 kilometres of the journey.
Right, that's me.
He's looking forward to a well-earned sleep when he gets an alarming text message from the vendor of the motorbike.
The money hasn't been transferred for the bike, so the bike hasn't actually been paid for by the new owner.
The new owner is covering the cost of freight. If he reneges, Yogi could be out of pocket to the tune of $500. He tries to track down the vendor for advice.
Nothing, no answer either.
I found the beach. I think I might be lost.
New Zealand's South Island. Sludge is on the coast, heading down from Ashburton.
We're about to fall off New Zealand, bro.
He's just over halfway to Gore, where he'll pick up a load of wool bales and a load of gravel before hauling both to Invercargill, a total journey of 500 kilometres.
I don't think it matters where you go in New Zealand, it's all beautiful. I probably appreciate it more now than I've ever done. Let's do it. Let's go and load this shit and get on with it. We haven't got all day. F***ing heavy things, these puppies. Not right, are they?
2 months ago, Sludge had an operation on his thumb. Shifting the 180-kilo bales by hand is slow and painful.
Yeah, we'll have to send Hoggy the bill for me thumb. Look at it. Doesn't work anymore.
He doesn't get much sympathy from the Southland farmer whose wool he's hauling.
This is hard work, this stuff. You bale them too heavy.
They're not heavy enough.
They're not heavy enough?
Well, he's got it too cruisy, I reckon.
I have got it bloody cruisy.
Yeah, you should be out doing hay or something. It's all good for you.
That's why you're young and fit, you see.
Yeah. Where'd you pick this fella up from?
Sludge's next pickup is much more his style. A full trailer of gravel, with the backhoe loader doing all the work.
Loaded up, ready to go.
Loading up took longer than expected.
We're probably about half hour behind time at the moment. We'll slip down here and get rid of the gravel. Hopefully that'll be a quick one and we'll catch up a bit of time there.
But at the gravel yard...
Time's ticking, time's money.
And then the wool shed.
Come on, where the f*** are you?
The staff aren't in a rush to help him unload.
Nothing in New Zealand happens in a hurry.
By the time he's delivered the gravel and the wool, Sludge has dropped even more time. And he still has one more load of fertiliser to pick up and deliver.
So the superworks closes at 3:30. It's just turned 3 o'clock now and we're probably a good 25 minutes away.
If the fertiliser plant closes before he arrives, he'll have to wait until tomorrow to load up.
You don't want to be stuck down here overnight because the truck's got another load to do tomorrow.
The rest of his working week is in danger of falling apart, but Sludge is confident he can still make it.
We'll get there. We'll push on. Hopefully we won't be too late.
But just as he gets up ahead of steam...
You've got to be shitting me. F***ing roadworks.
It's gridlock.
Now we are starting to run out of time. Come on, you bastards.
In Esperance, Western Australia, Yogi's on a long-haul trip to Victoria.
You can't ever relax in this job.
He's cranky after discovering the new owner of the motorbike he's freighting has failed to pay for it.
If the bike's not paid for and old mate can't come up with the money in Melbourne, well, it has to go back to WA.
For Yogi, no delivery means no paycheck for his family.
Not my problem, but it's become my problem.
With the pressures of the trucking life piling on, the loneliness of the road begins to get to Yogi.
2 weeks away from the kids and the family. I feel like I don't see enough of them. I see myself getting out of trucks. Yeah, you could give it all up in a heartbeat. Love you.
I love you.
Two days on the road, and 2,700 kilometres later, Yogi crosses the state line into Victoria.
Coming to civilisation means we've got towns and people and authorities. You got to pay just a little bit more attention.
Soon the open road gives way to urban sprawl. Yogi's least favourite part of the drive.
Could you get any quicker on the lights? Welcome to Victoria. Oh, traffic is just brutal. Come on, 1 for 1. That's how we get the job done.
And it's not just the other drivers who grind his gears.
I'm all for, right, the bike riders, right? I've got to give them a metre. Yet, when I'm sitting in traffic, they come up a metre under me. That annoys me.
Eventually, Yogi clears the traffic and starts eating up the final Ks to the drop-off.
We're off. Back out on the open road. Everything is going nicely. Yeah, you normally jinx yourself when you say everything's going really well.
While Yogi waits to hear about the fate of the motorbike, he's ready to unload the vintage tractors, still fully intact after the long drive.
And we're about to unload. Back it in there.
The tractors are heavy, awkward,
Don't let him roll over once you go over that.
and irreplaceable.
Just come him up a bit. Yeah. Whoa.
One slip up here and all Yogi's care on the road will be for nothing.
Whoa.
In the Western Australian Outback, Steve Grahame's convoy is in trouble. His old friend Si is stuck in the mud.
This doesn't look like much fun.
We'll get there, mate, eventually, I think, I hope.
Up ahead, ominous storm clouds gather from a rapidly approaching tropical cyclone.
That cyclone Veronica is looking really intense. I've got my eye on it. Could be difficult times here.
As Steve predicted, the small wheels on Si's trailer have come to grief in the mud. Si's call for help is answered by Al Marks, a contractor who's also headed to Junjunjara.
It's going to be fun all the way. What do you want to come and play with us for? You should have gone to town with the others, mate.
I could have been on the piece now.
Go forward a bit, bro.
All right, I'll go for it, mate. Come back a bit, El. Yeah, not seem to be moving at all, hey? Nah, I don't want to dig a hole here.
It wasn't as easy as what they thought. But then again, I've been 40-something years outback trucking. It's never been as easy as what I thought.
Steve switches to plan B.
All right, we're going to attempt to reverse out of this slight bog hole.
This time they've chained Si's truck to Pat's tanker. The extra muscle soon has Si back on dry ground.
Well, that went very easy.
One problem solved, but the convoy's still on the wrong side of the mud. The Brains Trust needs a new plan of attack.
We're going to try and run me through first because I'll put the deepest ruts in it. I'm the heaviest, but also because if I do it right, my back trailers will still be pushing me when I'm on the slippery stuff.
It's risky. Get it wrong, and Steve's road train will be a 100-ton roadblock.
Hey, here we go, we're into it.
What's those cleats on that trailer there? Yeah.
In Lancefield, Victoria, Yogi's struggling to unload 3 antique tractors.
Whoa. Whoa. Good job, boys. Yeah, come off really well. I reckon that was the heaviest. Just takes that bounce out of it. Just watch that swing. He's off.
Yeah, one more of them, we're off.
Just the small one to go.
This will be the easiest.
There you go.
It's a win on the tractors.
Jeez, and it's all over as easy as that.
Just as Yogi is leaving, he gets a text from the vendor of the motorbike.
Payment received in my account. Oh. That means the bike is good to deliver. Well, there's one little battle I don't have to fight.
It's a result that means the long trip has been financially fruitful.
We made it.
The next day, Yogi's back on the road.
Happy days, happy days.
He's missing his family, but he can't head home just yet. Yogi's been asked to present a Trucking Legends Award at the Haywood Truck and Ute Show.
Feel really good about being here and, you know, being part of this show.
And he's got a speech to memorise.
It's like homework, you leave it till the last minute. You know, these people are legends of the industry, and I don't want to balls it up. So I've got to have the right words coming out my head. Oh, hello. Hi. Oh, loud. Hi. Lovely day for it. Country shows are great. It's really, really mad.
Yogi leaves the sanctuary of his truck and nervously takes to the podium.
The industry, you do a lot, you spend a lot of time away and you make a lot of sacrifices and a lot goes unsung. We just do it because we love the job.
His heartfelt words go down well with the crowd.
Good job, mate, well done. The emotions in the room are pretty full on, it's great. Thank you. Every day of the road, you're treated like an object. Today you go down the road and you're treated like a bit of a bloody legend. Hey, how you going? What's going on? Well, people recognise who you are and they recognise what you've done. So we got everybody? Squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. And it is an emotional job, you know. It's a tough gig.
On days like this, trucking doesn't feel like such a lonely job.
Oh.
Gates aren't shut, so here's hoping they're going to bloody let us in.
On New Zealand's South Island, sludge has just made it to the fertiliser plant.
Looks like there's one here in front of us. Fingers crossed.
If he's too late to load up, he'll have to come back tomorrow, wrecking his busy delivery schedule.
Oh, I'm a bit tired. I'm meant to be on holiday, not killing myself driving a truck again.
Just as his working holiday threatens to be more work than holiday, Sludge is finally in luck with his last pickup of the day.
Yep, we're going to slip in and load, so wheeling in here so we can get the hell out of here.
Loaded up with 30 tonnes of fertiliser.
We're away now, we're going to get the hell out of here.
Sludge is back in business.
Should be a good run home, hopefully. We've got a bit of back roads and not too much traffic.
It'll take Sludge an hour and a half to get back to home base, dropping off the fertiliser on the way. With just 2 hours left before he's over his legal maximum working hours, time is still of the essence.
If you're over your logbook by 5 minutes, it's bloody $200 or $300 fine and that for that sort of stuff, so it's important not to run out of time.
A few kilometres into the journey...
Ah, shit.
Sludge clocks a problem.
Bloody tarps come loose.
Fixing the tarpaulin is a delay he can do without. But the weather up ahead forces his hand.
Holy shit, it's gonna f***ing rain.
If the fertiliser gets wet, it'll turn into 30 tonnes of useless mush.
I don't know what it's worth, but if it gets wet, it's probably worth more than what I've bloody made out of this trip, so... Freaking annoys me having to stop for shit like this. The wind must have got under it and bloody pulled them up.
The fertiliser is safe. But as he approaches the drop-off, Sludge is in danger of running out of time.
We've got about half an hour up our sleeve, so we wouldn't want any more bloody hold-ups. No rain yet. Here's hoping.
If those black clouds turn into rain, it could destroy his load of fertiliser.
That's it. We've finally got it off. I want to get home and bloody knock off.
Sludge is almost back on holiday.
We go to the pub for a beer.
He's got 10 minutes left to make the 10-minute drive back to home base.
Piece of piss. Nothing to an experienced driver like me.
Here we go, we're into it.
On the track to Chunchunjara, Steve Grahame's axle deep in mud.
Trailer's pushing me nicely. I'm hardly accelerating. Those trailers are doing a wonderful job. Right, mate, I'll watch you in my mirror.
Si follows in Steve's tracks. It's second time lucky for Si's low loader.
No worries, mate, you good, eh?
Yeah, mate, all good.
This looks worse than the last one. The road's certainly not good. I said we'd be in there by tomorrow afternoon. It might be the following afternoon. This is going to be a steady operation.
If the equipment the trucks are carrying arrives late, it'll prevent a whole road crew from working.
It'll be what it'll be, but by Jesus, we don't want any rain tonight.
Mud is not the only obstacle between Steve's convoy and the community of Chunchunjara. The three trucks have been travelling alongside the Trans-Australian Railway, and now they have to cross it.
Oh, well, this is it. This is going to be fun getting over this railway line.
The crossing has a steep approach and exit.
But it's steep, so we've got to be really careful and make sure we don't hang up on there and stuff the bloody Transcontinental Railway line.
If Si's truck with its low-slung trailer bottoms out, it could cut the only rail link between east and west, causing major disruption.
If we scrape, we're going to have to basically skull drag them off the line and shut the bloody railway line.
Si begins to inch his way over. But just as he's nosing onto the crossing,
I think there might be a train coming.
Columbaroo, at the northern tip of Western Australia. One of the most remote places on Earth. The community here can't survive without supplies sent by barge from Darwin and by road from Perth, 3,000 kilometres away. Veteran Perth truckie Steve Grahame has been trying for more than a week to get his road train into Columbaroo.
On the one hand, I'm bogged, but on the other hand, I'm getting out this side because the side where the aluminium steps are in the sun, I can't put my feet on them because they're that bloody hot.
It's been an epic struggle against the roads and the rain.
It's starting to get a bit serious now.
He's stuck just 70 kilometres from his destination. But on these tracks, travelling 100 metres can take more than a day.
I'll split this road train up. I'll pull the lead out and I'll come back and get the dogs. I'll take the lead up there past that wet bit. There's a huge amount of interest in this road train getting up there.
He's carrying critical building supplies and food to fill the shelves of an empty local store.
Every day, I've had people that have got an interest in this load making phone calls to me asking as to how the food for the store's going, which has got to keep everyone going over the wet season.
A whole community is relying on Steve to make it. He's managed to get the prime mover through.
The water that's laying there doesn't worry me, it's the slippery stuff getting up to the water.
But there are still 2 trailers stuck and only a single chain to try and pull them out.
It pings, that's the one that can take someone's head off.
Steve's already snapped a chain doing this. If he doesn't get this right, he'll break the only chain he has left. While Steve is finally moving again, his old engine is struggling.
Make a few noises in the clutch.
And the road ahead isn't getting any better. The road is the homestead of the Theda cattle station, and 20 kilometres beyond that is this. A notorious black soil bog hole, twice as long and 10 times as difficult as the one he's just beaten. A struggle for a 4-wheel drive. A nightmare for a 50-metre, 100-tonne road train.
That bog hole's been my nemesis since before this trip started. I've had a video sent to me of that bog hole when I was in Fremantle, loading these containers.
As truckloads go, they don't come much bigger than this. An 8.5 metre wide, 100-tonne mining dump truck, destined for Queensland's booming coalfields. Problem is, someone has to get it there, from Brisbane to Rolleston in central Queensland, crossing the mountains of the Great Dividing Range.
Need a radiator for it, mate. ASAP. 1084.
The man with the mission is Mark King.
On my trailer, I'll have the major chassis part. It's 105 tonne. Then the wheels, they're about 6 tonne each. We'll put a couple of those on each flat top trailer. And the cabin and the handrails, there's another 4 tonne in those, they'll go on another truck. So there'll be myself with a chassis and 2 accessories trucks. That's just to get the chassis to site. And then there'll be another truck later on that'll actually have the dump truck part.
The load can only travel through the city at night, putting pressure on an already tight deadline.
And that's why we have to leave Brisbane at midnight, because we've got to sort of be out of town, off the road, before the people get out of bed.
The hauling truck is an 80-wheel flatbed, and mechanics have discovered a problem with one of the sets of brakes.
Right, mate, so you've got the Allen key bulb in there. It'll be chopped out, yeah. 80 tyres on the ground here and a set of brakes for each of them. And you have one that blows out, you can take out a couple more with it.
Deadline or no deadline, it'll need fixing before they can leave the depot.
180 tonne going down the road and we're dealing with general public, you get someone that just pulls straight out in front of you or something, you want to know that you've got enough braking power there to pull the whole load up. Just look out and have a look how bad that thread is inside the housing. I'll be happy when the brakes are all going, because then I know when I'm sitting up the front of it, I've got that pedal on the ground that's going to work.
The pressure on Mark to get away is increasing all the time, and a locked tool cage is the last thing he needs.
Hey, Darren. Where's JJ? My job as a driver to make sure when I leave the yard, my gear's right. Every time I walk in this shed to get a bolt or a clamp or a screw, am I supposed to come in and say to you, JJ, I've just got to make sure this is the right size, every time? So out of a 10-hour day, I'm going to get 2 hours work done.
To make matters worse, heavy rain is forecast for Brisbane and en route.
Yeah, that's the worrying part, because if main roads, say, deem it too wet, they'll shut the permits down, and then that's it, we don't play anymore.
In the central Australian desert, on the road to Alice Springs, ex-model Deb Drew is into the 4th day of a 7,000-kilometre trek from Melbourne to Darwin and back.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Fantastic day. Put it on cruise control and just enjoy the ride.
After raising 3 children, Deb has decided to get some adventure back in her life. Seeing the country from a truck cabin with her partner Damo.
He's beside himself with excitement. He's just concealing it well. Getting paid to see the country. That's wonderful. My daughter has not been particularly approving of my choice of current vocation. Oh, the shame of it. My daughter went to pretty much the best private school in New Zealand. Her friends' mothers are more likely to be out playing tennis or going out to lunch than driving a Kenworth.
Close to midnight at the depot in Brisbane, wide load driver Mark King is waiting to set off on a 700-kilometre trip.
I'll get my permit and my gate release.
Taking a massive coal-carrying truck to a remote mine.
Good evening, mate.
All the boys are loaded, ready to go. Just doing the final checks, making sure lights are on, banners are on.
Thank you very much.
Mark not only has to negotiate the roads, he also has a load of bureaucracy to deal with.
This is all my permit paperwork, all the different things we've got to go through. There's police permit, Energix's clearance for the wires, Ergon Energy's clearance for the wires, Optus leads, Queensland Rail, main roads permit for all my weights. Lets me know any traffic changes, who I've got to ring on the way, and the roads I have to take. And then my dimensions, 7.5 metres wide, 5.2 metres high and 35 metres long. Just file it.
To help him, he'll get a police escort and pilot cars.
Page 72 or something. Leaving town's stressful. You're stressed, it's come up, blood pressures are up.
I'll duck around on his left, watch his left if you want, Jim.
And we head up the highway. I've then got 2 or 3 pilot vehicles with me, a couple of police cars. It's my job to make sure they're doing their job and they're in the positions that they have to be in for road safety.
Your left-hand side, mate, got a meter on the pole, read the electronic board.
If there is traffic behind us, the buck stops with me. It's not up to them to just call the shot and get the traffic around and tell someone on the radio, yeah, go around if you want, mate, we're only going slow.
Want to clear all this traffic? Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Can you copy that?
You have to be 100% confident and you have to just say to yourself, right, that's it, I'm in charge. I'll take advice from other people, but the buck stops with me, because if it goes pear-shaped, I'm the one they come and see.
The midnight start means there'll be fewer cars to worry about until morning. But the dark and numerous roadside obstacles seriously challenge Mark and his team.
Yeah, metre on the left. Always right. Metre on your left, slow it down, mate, slow it down. Nice and straight through there, mate. No. Just want to straighten him up a little bit there, mate, if you can. Hold that line, brother.
When I'm driving up the road, I might as well not even have mirrors on my doors, because all I can see is the load. And just can't judge the distance between the back of the load and the pole that we're going to sort of sneak past or something like that. So yeah, here's your eyes down the back.
Yeah, he relies on what we say, and he's just got to try and pick his line. Righto, bend it. Other thing is, with these self-steering trailers, they track differently to a traditional trailer. So as you turn the wheel and the prime mover bends on the turntable, it hydraulically operates the wheels and they turn. So that helps you get around corners. Otherwise, you'd never steer something like that with with 10 axles.
The convoy has hardly travelled any distance when it hits trouble.
Copy that wide load heading westbound on the Logan. Yeah, mate. Yeah, you got a lane closed right ahead of you, mate. Probably about a K.
There's an enormous road-laying machine taking up 2 lanes.
You're going to have to move it, mate, eh? Yeah, well, they got half the road taken into a paper, so...
The convoy should have been warned about the blockage before they left the depot.
Well, if you could get onto them, please, mate, because we're coming through.
Do you just want me to get out in front and see what's going on up there?
This road ain't big enough for the both of them.
Mate, you know we're coming through, do you? What else we got down behind you, mate?
Shit, bit messy up there, eh?
The convoy grinds to a halt. The team need to work out whether there's enough room for the wide load to squeeze past the roadworks.
Yeah, 8.5 wide coming through there, brother.
When we get our permit given to us, itemised on the permit for main roads is where the roadwork sections are. So you'll read it and you'll go, beautiful, no roadworks down the road here. And you'll drive out and bang, there's roadworks. They just neglect to put it on the paperwork. So then we've got to try and deal with them. And they're trying to say to us, well, you shouldn't be here. And we're saying, well, we've got a permit, we're coming through here.
In northwestern Australia, Steve Grahame is resting up before he tries to get his road train through this notorious bog hole. He's at a nearby cattle station, 70 kilometres short of his destination, waiting for the mud to dry and praying there's no more rain.
I'm in the hands of the weather. I've been here before. I've been stuck on the road and I've waited. I'm stuck on the road and I'm waiting. I've got plenty of tucker. If I've got to wait a week, I've got to wait a week.
If Steve can't get through this way, he'll have to risk turning back and take his load the long way round to a port where it can be shipped to Columbaroo.
And the retreat plan will be to Wyndham, offload on the wharf and barge it in at a later date. There is a barge leaving Wyndham next Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's already half loaded. The barge can take 40 tonne a time. I've got 60 on here. It would mean 2 trips. It would mean the increased cost of me trucking this gear back to Wyndham and get it on a barge.
The pressure's on to persevere and go the way he'd planned. But it all depends on the condition of the bog hole.
And have a look at this horrible end. Where's the shittiest bit? If it doesn't rain, and it's not going to rain for the next few hours, I'll give this a go late this afternoon.
While he waits for the bog to dry off, Steve turns his attention to another concern. His 18-year-old engine has been leaking oil the entire journey and may not be up to dragging 3 heavy trailers through a swamp.
It's like praying to God every morning, the Kenworth prayer. Well, this poor old motor has got here. It's done a mighty job to get here. But it's starting to run a fair bit of coolant out of the heads and things. It's not good.
After 2 weeks of blood, sweat and mud on the road, tea and scones at the homestead sounds like a good idea.
The scones are as good as ever.
I thought you had a hard time, Steve.
Thank you very much. Beautiful.
If everything had gone to plan, Steve could have been home by now.
My daughter was talking to me on the phone. She said, Dad, I feel today is a great day to have a baby. I said, oh, do you, Bub? She said, as a matter of fact, I'm going, Dad. I think I'm having a contraction. So she was happy she had the baby at home.
Oh, she had it at home.
She didn't even get to the hospital.
Well, tomorrow might be a big day.
I'd like it to be. I don't like the look of the sky. Back there down the road.
Oh, my Lord.
The weather catches Steve out again. It looks like his tea break was a big mistake.
I came out here a little bit earlier, a couple of hours ago. It was hot. This was dried out considerably. There was just a little bit of water on the right-hand side. I went back to the station and had a cup of tea and scones, and I should have stayed here and done the grading because my window is only early in the morning. I can get a window in the morning of a couple of hours. I'll have to grade that then let it dry out to the next day to attempt to get across there. So what my cup of tea and scones cost me is a day. It's soul-destroying, mate. It's soul-destroying.
On the desert highway en route to Alice Springs, Deb and Damo are still hoping they can alter their schedule.
Scenery's pretty specky, isn't it? Yeah?
They've got a plan to mix a little pleasure with the business of driving and make an unscheduled stop at a place they've both always wanted to see. But Deb has spotted a problem with one of the trailers.
We've got a buckle undone at the back.
It's the sort of thing that could bring them to the attention of the law.
Even if they've just worked themselves loose, you're still done for it. They just kind of work themselves loose sometimes, and we actually get fined for that. If it's for every buckle that's undone, it's worth about $125 in fines. Even if they work themselves undone and that's just happened, too bad. Here's your ticket. That's it. On our way.
But while Deb's been tightening the straps, a passing transport patrol has spotted her.
I'm fine, I'm not broken down or anything. I just stopped to do stuff. Yeah, no, I'm good. See ya. Put your bloody clipboards away, for fuck's sake. They stopped and bloody thought that there was something up. Oh no, here he comes. Oh, they're traffic inspectors. They've stopped. Because I'm stopped. Hello. Good. Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, no, I just pulled over to, Oh, what a good idea. He's going to check some things while we're here. Yeah. Good. Fabulous. They'll do license check the truck, registration, that sort of thing. So we're all good and legal, so it's not a problem. A little bit of, I don't know, anxiety, I suppose, attached to it. Just they're probably pretty good up here in the territory, but in other states, you know, if the state budget is, you know, needs a bit of a boost, they'll send them out. They've got to up their quota of, you know, fines, haul some, you know, a few $1 million more, and truckies are a really good target for that. So, and that's what happens, you know, and they'll find something. They'll keep looking till they find some damn thing.
The inspection is not only costing her time, it could cost her money. If they discover a defect, a hefty fine.
We all good?
Oh, he's just checking the radios on the trailers.
He's checked my license already.
Have you?
Yeah.
I just want to put the details down on the running sheet. Thank you.
So they checked my license and they're checking the registration. The registration is up to date on the truck and trailer. Whenever you get pulled up, you sort of, I don't know, I mean, it's all, you know, it's always, we do everything legally and all that sort of thing, but it's always sort of like, oh shit, you know, what sort of magic problem can they possibly discover, you know? But these guys seem to be all right with what's going on, so it's fine, not a problem. Bye, bye-bye, lovely, see you, bye.
After some tense moments, Deb and her truck finally get the all clear, but the stop has cost them time. Another delay, and their plans of a sightseeing side trip will have to be scuttled. There are blue skies above the bog hole that's trapped Steve Grahame and his road train, but the story on the ground is not so encouraging.
Our Father, Wishart, in heaven, Harold be thy name. I think Harold Wishart has won this round. I'm not saying he's won it yet, but he's close to it.
It's 100 metres of thick black mud, more than a metre deep in places. And there's still more rain around.
The only real rain in Australia is right here where we are. I was, 100% positive that I'd get this load in the last 70 odd kilometres to the destination. I'm only 70 kilometres short of it. If the road's washing out and there's a great gully forming in the road, well then it's beyond me. Then I need local government to, to rebuild roads. It's the decision-making process is way beyond me. Then I can just simply put the alternatives to people who want this load in there, who want food in there, who want the building materials in there, and it's up to them at that point to call the shots. I've had lengthy discussions with everyone involved. I'm prepared to sit here for a week. We'll give it 1 week from today. No rain tomorrow. Monday, no rain. I'd have a go at it. I'm still got a feeling that we may get a window of opportunity sometime within the next week. Over.
The situation is so dire, graders have been sent from the community Steve's supposed to be supplying.
But he's got trouble getting traction there himself.
Food and building materials are long overdue.
You need your stuff off that road train down there?
Contractors are relying on him.
We're ready to start doing some work there, but we need fencing gear, which is on the truck.
Well, we're not working, we're not getting paid. We've got to put something up to get paid. So.
Patience is starting to run out. They offload some of the freight in the hope they can get it the rest of the way on the back of four-wheel drives. It's a plan until Steve gets more bad news on the weather front.
Just been told that they've had 5 inches of rain at Columbaroo.
There's a river between here and Columbaroo. Rain has made crossing it impossible. Now, everyone's stuck.
Don't rush. Columbaroo just had 5 inches of rain.
Well,
you're here tonight, mate. Nice food, lovely people. Welcome to my world, gentlemen. A world of sadness and gloom where you go off to do a little, you just say, right, I'm going to do this today, and then rain buggers you up.
And you know what? I wanted to be a trucker years ago. Geez, I'm bloody happy I changed my mind.
It's Outback trucking. Shit happens. This is where we're at.
In the small hours of the morning, Mark King's oversized load has hit a roadblock. No one told him about a new road surface being laid on the highway. A machine is taking up the 2 lanes he needs to get by. Now there's a standoff between the road crew and the truckers.
The pilot told me that, and he said it was 8 metres to the thing.
Yeah, it's 8 metres wide at the hubs.
They want to get their gear through to keep the work happening. While we're sitting there, they can't get past it.
Oh, so once you get up there, you can't go off anywhere anyway, eh? Because the roadworks out there at this width and weight, it's not ideal, but that's what we've got to do to get out of here. We just have to suck and see, brother. We just have to suck it and see. Off the road, guys.
You've got to either let us through or pack their gear up and go home tonight. I dig my heels in the sandy ground on the road. My paperwork says I'm coming through, that's what I'm doing.
The stalemate ends.
I'll just stab him out, mate. Yeah, right, mate, we'll give it a bit of a go.
After some rushed and rough measuring, Mark decides there's just enough room for him to get by.
So you're going to have to get the wheels right over to the left-hand side.
We don't knock them out. The boy's just going to move them up against the guardrails.
Yeah, it's pretty stressful for the boys in the truck. There's a lot going on.
We'll clear the side on the right.
As you can see coming through there, it's there's not a lot of real estate left. It's 2:45 now. I think it's about 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we've got to be on the other side of Toowoomba.
The delay has cost them precious time.
I'm behind time now. It took a little bit longer than expected to come out of town.
If the wide load is not out of the urban area by sunup, they risk breaking their curfew, and the police could order them to stop.
Yeah, we shouldn't really be going this way. This is sort of out of the way we need to be going, but part of the permit restrictions. And the roadworks out on the Ipswich motorway, we have to come out this way.
Yeah, just back off there, mate. Stay behind crash for us, would you? Because I'm only just coming into the first roundabout now.
And their progress is about to be slowed again by a series of low bridges.
We'll actually pull the load up, lower the trailer to the lowest possible height we can do, and just travel underneath it like 1 kilometre an hour, if that. With someone standing up on the top with a two-way radio talking to me, guiding me under that bridge. Some of those bridges we get down to less than 10 millimetres. There's no room for error.
Yeah, you're clear, buddy.
Truck's running good, trailer's following nicely behind me, all the steering's okay. So, we'll be here for a good night now, we're sort of getting out of town.
Mark's optimism is soon cut short. Still within the city limits, one of the tyres on his 80-wheel trailer goes flat.
Nail gone through it there. I've blown the tyre.
Not what you want with 100 tonnes sitting on top.
We've got a flat tyre up here now, so we're just trying to get up the road here a bit where we've got to up to Dinmore where there's a reasonable sort of a parking bay so we can get the trucks off the road to change this tyre.
While you're on the road, you're doing the maintenance. If there's a tyre that's gone, you change the tyre. You can't afford to just park up and wait a day for a mechanic to turn up, because while you're parked there, there's pilot vehicles staying with you and there's police pilots with you. You're paying them per hour. Could cost you $3,000 in outgoings for the escort vehicles that sit with you.
By early morning, they've reached the base of the Toowoomba Range. To get to the top is a punishing 6-kilometre climb up a 1 in 6 gradient.
Hopefully we don't have any issues.
It's so steep, Mark will need a second truck to help pull him up.
When we get to the bottom of the range, we hook the block truck on, double our capacity of traction. Same truck as this, with a big counterweight steel block on the back of it. We'll both get going together, just full steam ahead.
Double the power and double the traction to overcome the treacherous combination of a big truck carrying a mega truck up a winding mountain road. Steve Grahame's road train has been stranded at a remote cattle station now for 5 days. Rain has been filling up a bog hole that Steve needs to get through. With work on the hole and the sun drying it out, Steve's ready to risk running his road train at it.
In a few minutes, another couple of little tidy-ups, I'd be able to get my prime mover at least to that big clump of dirt there. At least to that point there. It's amazing how optimistic it makes you when it doesn't rain on it for the day.
As you may see, coming back over the ridges up here, there's more cloud coming in. So if it rains again tonight, that's the end of the story.
There's only one way I'm going, that's ahead at this point in time.
If Steve doesn't beat the bog hole, he's stranded. Out here, there's no way he can turn his road train around.
We've been waiting here at Theta for a week. We've had the last 4 days without rain. It doesn't look like it's going to rain for a couple of hours or so. We have this one small window that we can get across these 2 bog holes here and to the Carson River today. Once I turn north, I'm committed. I've got to get into Columbaroo, and if it rains behind me, my only way out of Columbaroo is barge the thing.
Steve's decision is crucial. Left to take on the bog hole, right to try a much longer way.
So we're going to give it a go. Going to turn left. The minute I turn this corner here, I'm committed. And I'd dearly like to turn right, but we're going to turn left. It's going to make a mess of the windows. Oh, shit. Maybe not. Yes. Clouds have gone away a little bit. I'd like to think that, I've got 3 or 4 hours to play with these bog holes.
Steve's stuck halfway, but he's not defeated.
I'm feeling good. I got to where we said. The chain should reach to there. We got to where we wanted to get. Was that tyre near enough? I should be able to pull it through from here. I've got to keep going. There's rain coming.
From here, all hope rests with the chains.
Hold it there, fellas. One toot is go.
One, just stop.
And 2 stop. Now, it might look like nothing's happening. Just keep them going. Until you hear that double horn, then shut them down. Please. All along the way, but you know, I haven't got him now.
He did know what he was doing. He maintained focus and he knew what he was doing.
See what you read when you get in.
Well done.
Steve's been on the road for 2 weeks. Now he's within hiking distance of his destination.
That's the confidence booster. Tonight, the other side of the Castle River.
The river is the final obstacle of his epic 3,000-kilometre journey. It's flooded, but passable. If Steve can cross it, he's home. But first, he has to make it to the riverbank.
I don't know what I've got here this time. Like a flash. This stuff won't flash at all. I need a grader with a stiff bar back here, fellas, quick.
On a highway in Central Australia, Deb and Damo have made it to Alice Springs. They have to pick up a cargo of red sand, but if it doesn't get loaded straight away, their plans to go sightseeing may have to be scrapped.
In places like this, you can't actually go in and make a fuss and, you know, get people to hurry up. They do things in their, you know, their own sweet time. We're waiting for a forky to come out from somewhere. It must be Smoko or something.
I haven't a clue. I don't know. Nope.
I really wish that they'd hurry up.
Waiting to get loaded is one of a trucker's biggest frustrations.
So this is kind of part of the job, just sitting and waiting. We've been waiting for this to be loaded for over 3 hours now.
When they finally get rolling again, they've lost 4 hours. But Deb's determined. She's not coming all this way without adding something to her photo album.
Just going to drop the trailers here. We're only taking the prime mover out to the rock.
Ayers Rock is a 600-kilometre round trip. It'll take them the best part of a day to get there and back to the trailers. Deadlines and deliveries can wait. No one's going to stop Deb making this destination.
And we're on our way now, finally.
On Queensland's Toowoomba Range, wide load driver Mark King is preparing to haul a 100-tonne mining dump truck up a notorious mountain pass. The load is so heavy and the mountain pass so steep,
Nick, guide Scotty, would ya?
it'll need 2 trucks to haul it.
No, when we launch from here, I'll push you out, because this is dangerous.
A lot can go wrong. If it does, it's Mark's job on the line.
I'm 175 tonne, mate.
It's critical everyone in the escort does their job properly.
And listen, not have the stereo on.
I just put it out there. This is me. This is how I am. If you don't like it, don't talk.
The pull of the 2 trucks combined is a massive 1,250 horsepower, dragging 180 tonnes. Once they start, Mark doesn't want to stop. Other road users are going to have to get out of his way.
Hook into those trucks, get going, mate, or I'm just going to wheel out.
Coming through as fast as they can. Typical wide load driver.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
But yeah, the stress builds up, and you've got to be on the ball for these things. You can't just assume that it's hanging off the back of me, I'm okay, because your steering wheel's in your hands. If it moves going up the road, it can throw your steering, it can tip you, it can chuck you anywhere it wants to. It'll push you down the road.
Mark's trickiest task is coordinating the gear changes between him and the other truck.
As we're going up the hill, I sort of felt my truck pulling back a little bit, so we're sort of then trying to time the gear changes.
All right, Scotty, grab one, mate, hook in.
But you've got to time it so that you're both not changing gears at the same time, because one truck's got to be able to hold the whole lot while the next guy will drop a gear. He'll then take up the load.
So you've got plenty of grunt there if you do need it. If one truck brakes traction, the other truck's got enough up its sleeve that can sort of help out. Hang on to it until the other truck's right again.
It's a grueling climb.
Right at the moment, we're sitting on about 9 kilometres an hour.
And it doesn't take much to make it treacherous.
They've done a little bit of roadworks up there, well, I've just heard on the radio. You don't know what sort of condition they've left the road. Dirt, sand, anything that could lose that friction between your tyres and the road. You're driving up the road, you don't know about it until you're actually here.
The engine is burning fuel at an alarming rate.
At the moment, I'm getting 120 metres to the litre on diesel. Fuel's a big thing, you've got to plan ahead. You've got to know how far you're going to get and just to know the roads. You don't want to run out of fuel coming up here.
While his truck is pulling well, Mark's concern now is the state of the road.
On a hot day, the road will actually bleed. All it is just the heat of the asphalt, the oil's coming out of the asphalt, and as all the trucks and whatever's driving across it, it seems to just massage the road so that it ends up slippery. Once the road gets soft and you've got too much driveway, your wheels spin, you don't actually slide the tyres on the top of the asphalt, you'll dig holes in them. In turn, you're then dry bogging yourself on the road.
It's Mark's job to get this mammoth load safely to the top. He's one of the youngest drivers to take on this huge responsibility.
I'm towing one of these module trailers. Apparently in the industry it's looked upon that you must be an old bloke to drive one. The average driver in the transport industry is around 50, 55. I'm 32.
Stress levels, they're up a bit while you're going up the hill.
If something goes wrong, there's a lot at stake.
90% of the loads that I cart are mining equipment, up around the 100-tonne payloads. These machines that we cart now, these Caterpillar dump trucks, are basically the backbone of the mines. They're everywhere, every site's got them. $7 to $8 million will buy you that machine. The trailer that it sits on, coming behind me, over $1 million. The truck that's towing that trailer, $400,000 to $450,000 just for the truck. So you're driving up the highway, dealing with everyone else.
We're just going straight down the middle of it, aren't we?
You got sort of $9, $10 million worth of gear just poking on the highway.
Mark has finally conquered the mountain range, but it's been slow going.
It's always a sign of relief when you get to the top.
It's taken nearly 10 hours for the convoy to travel 150 kilometres. That's 15 kilometres an hour. Slow progress, and there's still 500 kilometres to go. Deb and Damo are starting to realise just how far off the highway the world-famous tourist attraction of Ayers Rock really is.
You think they would have put closer to Alice Springs?
But when it comes into view, the drive has been worth every minute.
Holy cow. Wow, that is amazing. Look at that. What? I can't believe I'm really here.
The rock was worth the trouble.
Yeah?
Yes, so. Right. Thanks.
It's another place to cross off her must-see list. Another reason this ex-model and mum dusted off her trucking licence and took to the road.
Getting paid to see the country. That's wonderful. Isn't it stunning? Wow, finally here. What a journey to get here, having to drive from the bottom of Australia to the top of Australia.
Back
and then back down again. This sort of thing certainly makes the job worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yes, cheers, cheers. Cheer, cheer. Good trip.
Steve Grahame's road train has come to a sudden and violent halt.
Need a grader with a stiff bar back here, fellas, quick.
One grader or two, Steve?
One'll do, thanks, mate, for a starter. See how we go.
Something's wrong with the end trailers. They're dragging like dead weights. They're dug in. The graders are Steve's only chance.
This is seriously bad news.
The road has caved in, completely burying the trailer's axles and wheels. Steve was almost in sight of Columbaroo. Now he's in more trouble than ever.